My topic today, I kind of want to talk about because I think me and Dur already had this brief conversation a little bit when we were kind of driving to get cake. Anyway, so we were talking about, I guess, the idea of like the afterlife, just because really recently, like we've had a lot of death in our family, in our extended family, and so we were just talking and having some conversation about what our opinion is or what we think happens in the afterlife, because I think for shamanism and for Christianity is so different, right? So different. Mm-hmm. So my brother-in-law passed away, and I think that was the first death that really hit us really hard, and everyone was super sad about it. And for me as an individual and as or as a wife, I see it as like how hard it must be for my sister, and then just a few weeks ago, Penia's dad passed away, and so we were thinking about like how hard it must be as like a daughter, and then of course Tia can relate too because dad passed away 6 years ago. Me and Dur were just having this conversation kind of like in regards to like for your dad, when your dad passed away, it's kind of like people that he knew already kind of passed, so you kind of wonder like when he passed, he's not going to be lonely in the afterlife, and we start talking about George, because George is like the first in his generation to pass, and I was just telling her, I'm like, how long must he wait for us, and how sad it must be, because he is probably the first generation of his generation to pass. So we were just talking about, what our vision or what our opinion is about in the afterlife. Stop shaking. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
This is my opinion, okay? The afterlife. You guys might have different opinions because you guys are Christianities, or you as your mom's daughter, seeing your dad get sick and then pass, you might have a different perspective. But for me, my perspective and how I see it is, for some reason in my head, I have it like it's probably like type theta, like for some reason. I don't know.
Gosh.
I don't know.
I see that too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
See? So I feel like it's almost like, type theta type of style, like, V9 and stuff like that. And because the reason why I feel like that is because how like when someone passes away in the shaman religion, okay, we have the tepene, right? And then we have the one, the haisi, right? So he kind of walks that individual back to where they actually left their placenta, right? And they kind of find their placenta, or luchol as we call it. So for me, that's kind of in my mind that they're kind of like, in the Hmong movies where like Lamote, and they're like, right? Right? And I see it as like a village, right? Where all your ancestors are, and you kind of go and meet them. So that is my perspective of like the afterlife.
Who's that lady again that does the shaman YouTube stuff? What's her name?
Oh, is it Cassie? She's amazing. She's amazing. I emailed her about my brother-in-law, and she responded, and she's for me she's real.
The reason why I think that like it's kind of like setting in that village sort of thing. The way she explained it was like her spirit guides were like basically Chinese, right?
Yeah.
It's like jumping on mountains or going through forests. I feel like it's like that. That's where the setting is after in the afterlife.
I actually don't know what to imagine. I don't imagine heaven because in the Bible it doesn't say that when you die you automatically go to heaven. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I definitely don't think about heaven when I think about the afterlife. I think of like a dark place.
So it's not.
It's like Nijicholu, like it doesn't really.
Like in the movie
have
Insidious.
anything.
Oh yeah, in that dark
I guess,
place.
yeah.
You have a little
But
light.
just like a rainy day, but it's like darker than that.
I want my afterlife to be filled with food and clouds and
Pink unicorns.
Yeah.
The hell?
with wings like Pegasus.
Well, for me, it's just like Doug said. Like, I don't know what to imagine about it because, like, like, you know, I hear stories here and there about like the, you know, the shaman side, where like, you know, tinito ay la o uning, and they say that la nyachon dundi and all stuff. So, you know.
Wait, but isn't that a shaman seeing a Christian person, right?
Yeah. Like for a shaman, if you're like Christian and you died a Christian and you don't get like the proper like shaman burial, then like you live like.
But see,
And you don't get like the ghost money, right?
yeah. But see, that's the thing. Like, you know, like obviously, like, you know, we were taught that, you know, we're not gonna go straight to heaven because, you know, we're not.
Wait for judgment.
Yeah, we had to wait for Judgment Day.
Really?
Which, yeah.
Oh my god.
But I mean, like, the only thing I could imagine is like that movie. If you guys haven't seen it, it's called Left Behind. I forget who the actor was, but it's like the story about like when all the Christian people, or like all the one who really believe in Jesus Christ, and all the children, they disappear, and the people who are left behind are like people who don't really have faith in God.
Oh,
You know that one? I don't know if you guys seen it, but it's on Netflix. Y'all should watch it. I kind of imagine like that, like maybe like those who don't believe in God, like how, you know, Jenny and really believe in God, they're probably left behind until like the Judgment Day, maybe something like that.
Do you see the afterlife as norm like this then? Like the norm? But just in a different, like, what do you call it? In a different universe? Dimension?
Maybe.
Yeah, dimension.
Like maybe we all die, but then we all stay in like another like world
It's like they call like that little.
that is almost like
Yeah.
this, but not like this.
Is that where deja vu comes from?
No.
Okay, that's totally
Oh
different.
my gosh.
Deja vu is kind of like, you're like, oh, I've done this before.
Repeated it. Like, I don't know. I've always been kind of like, I guess you can call me kind of atheist, but then kind of like a player with like religion. I don't know, because then, you know, I grew up in a very shaman
Household?
household. So then, you know, I used to have that same thing, like, you know, Binai and like kind of Thailand kind of thing. But then that was because, you know, if you think about it, like my parents, especially my dad, like he's a shaman. So then like he always talks about like his paw and his side of it. But I think with my dad passing away, I mean, I don't think of like heaven. I do. Like seeing where he was buried. I think for me that was like.
There's a roll of toilet paper.
I see it as like, you know, because my dad, he was like very outdoorsy, like fishing and hunting. So for me, like I didn't imagine like Thailand at all. Like I actually imagined him like just doing whatever he loved, and that's where he would fly off to and just chill and just kind of like do his own thing now, you know.
Yeah.
And so now that when I think about it, I was like, oh, I'm surprised I didn't think about like my dad in like old Hmong clothes and like, you know, like and everything, you know. But now like when I saw his burial place, because he actually chose his burial place, so like, and then when I saw it, I realized like it resembles so much of my dad of who he was, because it was just like hatong and everything, and there was like water by it. You know, it'd be nice to maybe, you know, speak up about this, see where he wants to be, you know, like find some place and not just put it in a cemetery where it's like convenient for us, or like something like that, you know, because like I saw your dad's resting place and I thought it was really nice too. And I guess sometimes, you know, when you're scared of death, you don't want to think about it, you know. And then I was telling Jerry too, I was like, you know, maybe we should think about ours. Like, I don't want you to like make like a last minute decision, you know, or something
About
like
you,
that.
for you.
Yeah.
I think that we do need to talk about it with our dad,
Yeah.
because I think it's
It's like out of respect and not out of like, you
Like-
know, we're expecting you to die.
yeah.
Yeah, like
I think
it's just like,
I think
we
for
want you to be
us,
happy.
it's like an obligation as children, but I also feel like you should get to choose.
I wanna
It is
be
really
burned.
far, but it's
You want to be burned?
you should be burned in
Me
hell
I want
regardless.
to be burned. And the ashes to be in the ocean.
Yeah.
I want to be
You
like.
just like cremate.
Yeah.
I know,
Is
because
that what is it
for
called?
real?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would rather much be burned.
See,
than
okay.
buried next to people.
Yeah. So this is my reasoning why I want to be cremated too, and it's the same as you, because I think for me, then on the next topic is, for me, I'm very like claustrophobic. So I cannot imagine myself like rotting in a box. Yeah. As someone who has really religious parents, I think that funerals are like over exaggerated. They are an explosion to kind of satisfy the guests and not cater towards the family. And I also believe that no matter how much you do, the person that passed away is not going to come back. So whatever you do is for your family's name. And why does it matter? Because those people are never going to come back and help you the way they used to when that person's there. And Gia's dad is a great example of that. You know, after he got sick, people that was very loyal to him stopped being loyal to him because for Hmong people it's all about
showing up.
Yeah. And so for me as a Hmong daughter and Hmong ya, that's why I'm really rebellious against like going and slaving away at other people's eating. But it's not like you're building equity there. You know, like once you die, oh well, now your kids are gonna have to do that. And why do I want my kids to have to live through that life? You know, and that's why I want to be cremated, because I don't want my husband or my family to be like, okay, we have to do a funeral that's gonna cost 50, 60, 70,000. You know, I'm like, no. And I told Chad, I'm like, dude, don't do anything for me. Cremate me, put me in a beautiful box, and then buy my whole entire family, your family, a plane ticket with my insurance money to somewhere beautiful. You know, to somewhere beautiful, and be there and remember me and celebrate my life.
This is the last time I should be showing on this video.
And then oh my gosh. And then when you guys are hiking or when you guys are canoeing and you feel like that's the right moment, then release me, let me be free. So that is me giving back to my family, and not the guests or not the people who I'll probably see 2-3 times a year, and they're coming for the free buffet at the funeral.
For my dad's funeral, I actually didn't cry as much as I thought I would. Not because I'm not sad or anything, but then like it just didn't feel like intimate. Like it felt very like invasive to me, because it was like all these faces. Like I knew most of them, but it wasn't like I knew them like that. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I still had to put like my hair up, or I still had to dress some type of way, or I still have to like pretend to smile. You know, like it just felt like very routine. Like it didn't feel like it was my dad's funeral, because it did not feel intimate for the family.
Half of the people there, it's not even there for you.
Exactly. And it just felt like it was so like, you guys have to show, you guys have to do this. Okay, now you have to do this, and it's like you guys have to stay the whole night. You know, nobody's kind of there to help you, so you're just like a freaking zombie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like you can't even like think straight anymore. But you're just like, you just feel like it's just a process, and it's not even like giving you time to actually like accept the reality. You know.
For Gia's dad's funeral, I mean, it looked like a wedding.
Oh, damn, really?
Yeah. Because Gia's dad was really, really popular. We rented 2 or 3 U-Haul buses to actually bring people to the burial site, since it was like a 2.5-hour drive. Like Greyhound buses.
Oh yeah,
And,
I was like, wait.
And they had red carpets. You know, I'm like,
Oh my God. Wow.
yeah, why do we need to buy this red carpet? You know, but because the elderly, they believe that shy, and then we should do it. And then one of the elderlies from our side, like immediate family, got to town because his flight was delayed. He came and he's like, I didn't like that, I don't like that, I don't like that, change that, and we had to sit there and change everything.
It should be for the family.
Yeah.
You know, like shame on people who come to a funeral and expect to be fed. Because
or
the family
like
needs the
snacks
most
or snack
support,
passed
you know?
around. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, some of the vein, close to us, they were like, oh, you guys did a really bad job at the funeral because nobody passed around snacks. People were thirsty and blah, blah, blah. And I was like,
well, too bad. Go to McDonald's.
Everybody put the money into a pot and we contribute. I think that promo was probably like $3,000-$4,000. And it was like crab legs. It was like fancy stuff.
And I wasn't even involved.
After that, guess what? Everybody went home. If you guys agree with me, right? Okay, that is supposed to be good to right? But when we do it at home or we do it traditionally or during the New Year's, they set up table, right? They set up spoons and stuff, and then they call the people to come and sit, eat with you, right?
I've never seen that done at a funeral.
No.
Never.
That to me, I think that our new generation, we have to change.